Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And, folks, it ain't looking too good out there for Stephen A. Smith with this Lebron James, Bronny James situation. Let's talk about it. So let's get into today's video. So, as you guys know, Bronny James had his best game as a professional in the NBA, where he played against the Milwaukee Bucks and he scored 17 points in that game. I don't remember the exact box score, but by far it was his best game of his young NBA career. And a lot of Bronny James supporters, or rather LeBron James supporters, who are supporters of Bronny by proxy, because that's the only reason they support him. And then you could also make the argument the only reason a lot of people hate on Bronny is because he's LeBron's son. So it's understandable. But anyway, a lot of them came out and, you know, they were like, you see, we told you he's good and this. Hell, they were even making a big deal of Bronny James apparently crossing up Giannis Antetokounmpo and blah, 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 and all of that, right? And I think it's important to say that Bronny did play well and Son is improving, right? Son is actually getting much better. Some people feel like people like myself and others have something against Bron. No, this is just LeBron James, honey neurons firing in your brain that make you think that. I never said I don't like Bronny or anything. We're talking about Bronny at one point, how he played, and that we were just reacting to the numbers. Then he got better in the G League. When do you see us talking about the G League? We don't talk about it. And then all of a sudden now he's playing better. Now we're talking about it now. But some people want to like force you to like him. Like, come on, stop. Anyway, so Bronny's playing well. But one of the people that kind of got into some issues because of this Bronny situation is Stephen A. Smith, obviously with the situation with LeBron James. He reacted to it. So yesterday they decided to bring this up on ESPN First Take and react to Bronny James's performance. So as Stephen A. Smith was responding to it, I could already see people in the comments and all over the place just flaming him for his response, because a lot of people essentially viewing what Stephen A. Smith is saying now as somebody that was confronted by LeBron James and just tucked his tail and ran away because LeBron basically G-checked him, right? And after his comments, man, people were absolutely flaming him. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say in response to Bronny James' breakout performance, and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
What did you think of Bronny's performance last night?
I was very impressed. I was very impressed because I saw an elevation in his level of confidence and poise. It was like it didn't really faze him. He didn't look as nervous as he had looked in previous appearances on the basketball court. He looked like somebody that belonged. Now, obviously, Milwaukee gave it to them last night, but just looking at the Lakers without LeBron, without Luka, without Rui Hachimura, without Austin Reeves, of course, that put Bronny James in a position where he could get his 30 minutes, but give credit where credit is due. There were some moves that he put out on the court, ball handling skills, getting to the basket, finishing at the basket, pulling up for jumpers, hitting a three, 17.7 to 10 shooting from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong. Are you listening, LeBron James? Are you listening, James family? Are you listening, Rich Paul? Are you listening, all of you people? Because here's my position. My position was all along, Bronny James needed to be in the G League. Put him in the G League, let him be in the G League his first year, and then after that, let him come on, because I've always believed that this kid has the potential, once I watched him, to be in the NBA. But what I saw last night made me say to myself, wait a minute. He keeps showing up and playing like that. J.J. Redick and his staff obviously doing an exceptional job coaching him. The G Leaguers obviously doing a good job of preparing him. Him sitting on the bench, learning, watching the Lakers players, being in practice with them sometimes. Evidently, that seems to be working for him. And if that kind of stuff continues, then indeed he'll be in the league as a bona fide player sooner than later. One game does that make that determination. You need to do more than that. But I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point. And the reason why I wanted to make sure I emphasize that point, Molly, is because when I was approached by Pops, okay, at courtside and all of this other stuff. I will contend
When was
till the
that?
cows come. Yeah, tell me about it. I will contend till the cows come home. I was never disrespecting Bronny James. I was the one that didn't watch him in high school because I didn't want to judge him like I would have had I gone to his game. I didn't go to his college games at USC because he had the heart condition. I waited and waited and waited until he got to the pro level because I wanted to give the kid a chance because obviously being LeBron James' son puts him in a very precarious position. So this notion that I was disrespecting or his son, it's a lie. It is false. We have numerous tapes that show I did not do that. But I did believe that he belonged in the G League to get himself honed for the NBA level. What may have been wrong about that is that evidently being around J.J. Redick and that staff and being around Pops and the rest of the Los Angeles Lakers, combined with the G League going back and forth, may be doing wonders for him sooner than we anticipated. Because I liked what I saw last night. And I'm going to keep the same energy. When he plays well, we're going to give him props. When he doesn't play well, we're going to say so. That's what happens with covering the league. Maybe his pops didn't tell him that, but I'm going to tell him that. Congrats on a good performance last night. I hope it continues. I believe it will. And I believe he's going to be an NBA player, a bona fide NBA player, a lot sooner than people think based on the progress we're seeing him make.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Let me just read through some of the comments. So this video got 500,000 views. It was posted by NBA on ESPN. One person says Stephen A. Smith changes his stance on topics like the weather. Another person said the media is getting exposed for not knowing basketball. Stephen A. Smith. Another person says Stephen A. Smith is the best car salesman in history in an alternative universe. One guy said Bron petrified this man. Another guy said, let's be real, Stephen A. That's not how you feel about Bronny. Another person said, I'm sure LeBron Sr. was viewing Stephen A. Smith very carefully in this one. Another person said, if this was Marcus Jordan, Stephen A. would be calling him the next Kobe Bryant. And another person said, that guy check got Stephen A. singing different, don't it? Another one said, Bron really scared this man into liking his son. Another person said, backpedaling starts at the 7-minute, 30-second mark. Another guy said, stop the cap, Stephen. You were wishing for this kid's downfall. Another guy said, the switch up is what happens when a dad confronts you in person. And then one final guy said, in Bronny we trust, Lakers in 5. And then one guy said, I was never disrespecting Bronny. Lies. Right? So you heard what people had to say in response to what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Basically, people are like, nah, like, don't switch up now and all of this. I got a few thoughts about this. Number one, this is what happens when you sit there and always try to triangulate. You end up triangulating yourself into a position where nobody takes you seriously. I said initially, the response that Stephen A. Smith should have had to LeBron should have been a little bit more defensive. Like, bro, get out of my face with all of that. Like, da-da-da-da-da. But because they had that back and forth, then Stephen A. Smith came on TV and looked like a dog they just kicked. I mean, he looked like he was about to break down into tears. And we're looking at him, and let me tell you why a lot of people are looking at him and say you came off weak in that instant. Number one, given the way you react to all the other stories, put the camera on me, put the camera on me. Son, you was look like that wasn't a good look. Number two, and I'm going to say it. Y'all can take it however you want to take it. Stephen A. Smith wants to run for president. If you can't stand up to LeBron James, what makes you think that we're going to have confidence that you can stand up to serious world leaders? Like, let's be for real. You're refusing to take a strong position against LeBron, but you want to run the USA, excuse me, and go take stance against Putin and all of these leaders. Like, come, let's stop. It's okay to say, to have a strong position, and to hell with it. I didn't like, you came off looking weak and like, what's all it is? I'm his father. Like, yo, cut that. Nobody want to hear that. Nobody wanted to hear that. What people wanted to hear was you defend your position. But the minute you came on there and started, well, you know, as a father, and you lost all credibility. You hurt your own argument. Stephen A. Smith's contention has always been from the onset, I'm not going to critique Bronny. I'm going to go out of my way to not critique him, which is true, which is what he did. He's always shied away from talking about him. By the way, him admitting he wasn't doing his job because he wasn't giving any other players grace to that extent. And then you came out there and had one comment about him, and then LeBron and his groupies or whatever, they start losing their mind. And in the moment LeBron confronts you, all of what of that, you just throw it out the window. Oh, he's a father, and this. And it's like, that, in my personal view, was the wrong course of action. It simply was. You could have pushed back. If you didn't want to push back in person and not make a scene, you could have taken a stronger position on television. But because you went on there and started talking about as a father and looking like you were about to cry and looking so melancholy, this is what happens. This is what happens. So now you put yourself in a position where you're trying to be politically correct to every single person. And now people are viewing you as a Bronny hater when in reality, you're not. When in reality, you're not a hater of Bronny. You've gone out of your way to not even talk about him. And in the midst of LeBron embarrassing you on TV, you still keep coming up there talking about he's the greatest this, and he's the this, and he's. It's like, stop. It's not natural. If somebody embarrasses you that way, you can't go up there and say, I'm giving you an honest say, well, I think he's wonderful. And it's like, yo, stop. Like, stop. React normally. React the way a normal person will react to it. Why? Because when you do that, you come off as more genuine. But when you're trying to, well, you know, it's a father, like, don't nobody want to hear that. Don't nobody want to hear that. And they still don't respect you. As you can see, you did all of that hollering and twerking it up and all of that. And they still, look at the video of Richard Jefferson and LeBron. They laughing at you. So now, whenever something happens with Bronny, you've now put yourself in a position where you're now a hater of him, even though you're not. Well, stand up and own it. Because by you saying, no, I don't mean it like this, man, they're going to be laughing, as they're doing in the comment section. As they are doing in the comment section. The fact is, Stephen A. Smith said nothing wrong about Bronny. Him pointing out his stats is not saying anything wrong about him. The fact of the matter is, if you felt a type of way of Stephen A. Smith pointing out Bronny's stats, it means that you know that them stats was horrible. Because if they were great stats, you wouldn't feel a type of way. So this is what happened. This is what happens when you try to please everybody. Take a position, for goodness sake. There are people that can't stand us, and I don't care. But there are people that also love us too. Do you know why? Because they know where we stand on issues. You can't stand everywhere. That's like with these political commentary. You know, the Republican, like I was listening to them yesterday talking about the Jackie Robinson, you should never disrespect the president. You should never do it and never do it. It's uncalled for. And these stupid Democrats. It's like, bro, what are you doing? You're pandering over here. You're pandering over there. You finish insulting the Democrats. Then you go to the Republicans. When you feel like you've gone a little bit too far, you now go back and let me get on the Democrats. So at the end of the day, if you ask me, where does Stephen A. Smith stand on issues? I say nowhere, because he hasn't taken a firm position anywhere. Anywhere. Take a position and to hell with it. This is just my take. This LeBron thing of you trying to capitulate to him and trying to reason with him and say no, and if this, and if they they don't care, my boy. They don't care. They don't care. In their minds, you're a hater. In their minds, any negative word, you're a hater. It's how they operate. It's how they think. This is how LeBron fans think. And people that think like this is how they view the world. You can say a million nice things about him. The minute you say one or two negative things, all of a sudden you're a hater. All of those other niceties and those nice things that you said immediately disappear. This is how they process information. So you trying to sit up here and say, no, but I didn't, it don't matter. These are my thoughts. Maybe one day Stephen A. Smith will get that it don't matter, it don't pay. And finally, you got 100 million, son. What you over here trying to kiss asses for? Say what you want to say. What they gonna do? Come take your breath? Say what you gotta say, and it is what it is. Why you be trying to kiss their ass for? You got money, bro. Like, what's all of this? I don't be understanding these dudes. You sit on 100 million and you still be caring what these people think. Oh, they're not gonna talk. Who cares? Are they paying your bills? I will never understand it. These are my thoughts, and I'm out, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.